Ash just got a bomb. No one can pass it on to. Super gets hit by some water balloons out of heaven. Place Nick has to flip over.
Ash is gonna be falling into the abyss.
Hello, 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 everybody. Let me undeafen. Here we are with session 11, Playday. Session 11, Division 1. There we go. Of the Revolt Racing League. We are here once again. I already see we've got some chatters. We will be headed to Museum 2, 80 laps of endurance. How are we feeling, Doug?
Oh, excited, stressed, even though I'm not one of the drivers, but if I was one of them, I'd definitely be, well, on one hand, not ready for this big challenge, but also still kinda, I would still be anticipating what's to come, because anything could really happen here. We really don't know who's gonna come out on top of this event.
Right, exactly, and it does look like we may have some Wi-Fi's tested, because it is, like we mentioned, 80 laps. I see Nick in the chat on Wi-Fi. You're on Wi-Fi, right? So we'll see how we're able to hold up. Fortunately, you could just reconnect. They wouldn't be so lucky. So we will see if UPC comes in clutch tonight for these racers. Now we can hop on over. We do have just a second. We can look at the standings for Division 1. So currently we see G-Force in first with 149 points, Frost in second with 126, Airtsu with 121 in third, and in fourth, Nick with 112, followed by Lampert 103. Sting cannot make it today. I'm not sure who's in the lobby right now, but that is what the standings are looking like currently. G-Force has been a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, G's definitely a force to be reckoned with, even though Frost is really strong in endurances. I will say, knowing how the season has been going, G definitely has a decent shot here. And also, look who I am seeing in the lobby. You are not seeing it, but it is Famous who has showed up. On the other hand, I saw you were taking a look at the points table. And looking at that, G can pretty much ensure his victory today fairly easily. Remember, it's 16 points and 1 point down between every different racer. So 16, 15, 14, depending on your finishing position. But you also get a bonus point for doing the best lap of the race.
Very true, very true. So, things still up in the air for these racers. Airtsu has been getting closer and closer to Frostbitten in that second place position. We can look at the prizes for just a second. We've got the Edifier GX headset on the line for first place. G-Force looking to earn that. Looks like he probably will. The Edifier Hecate GM5 earbuds, though, are up on the line. Frostbitten trying to defend them. And the Speaker Habit M69 speaker is the third place prize, which could see hands exchanged as well. Now we do seem to have just a moment here before we hop in, so I will look at the Division 2 standings in case you forgot. Just last Sunday, a couple days ago, Ashton Forrest passed up TT, who was in second place for a large amount of time. Ashton had constantly been hounding TT, and he did pass up TT in the last session. Powerade still out in first with 149.
Yeah, I think that will be interesting to watch, and also Epsimo versus My Division. So do tune in for that as well on Sunday. There's 2 more events with both these leagues, one of them being on today for Division 1. So, and Division 1 finals, I'm not sure how much we can tell you, but it's not guaranteed that they will be on Tuesdays. On next Tuesday. Regarding Division 2 though, as you can see, there's still prizes as well.
Yes.
And Ashen and TT will be competing for that speaker.
Yeah, we got the Edifier Hecate GM5, this time for first place in Division 2. The Speaker Habit M69 in second place. And for the third place prize, it's the Habit MP907 RGB XL mousepad. So lots of prizes still on the line, despite us being in our final two sessions. And this is going to be a special sort of session. As we kind of alluded to in Division 2, on Sunday, this endurance race really tests your ability to stay even-headed, to stay calm, even when you mess up, to recover from those mistakes. It's really anyone's race. Even when there's only 10 laps left, there's so much that can happen, but you have to get there from the previous 70 laps in order to compete for those last 10 a lot of times. So if you give up halfway through, you know, you could lose a race that you might have been able to win if you had kept your head down, focused.
Yeah, quickly before we start, I want to mention that the parts of the track to watch out for is, for on one hand, the shortcut that comes in the U-turn. We'll be seeing that, you'll be seeing when the time comes. It's a risk versus safe consideration. And also, there's a wall ride after that that they can go for, with a small gain. I expect some of the racers to go for that too. We did see that in the Endurance Championship last year. But I think we don't want to hold the racers up too much.
Yes, we can go ahead and begin. So I'll go ahead and give the ready call. We see Frostbitten, Kippy, Famous, G-Force, Lampert, Wurzel, Laggyrock, Nick, Lopeska, and Ertzu all in the lobby, and we will be headed with a packed crowd to Museum 2. Now, I don't want to reveal too much. You might have mentioned this, I don't think you did, but Famous sent me a very interesting clip of something on Museum 2 involving him and his Toyeka. We'll see if it comes to fruition or not. It does look like it could influence the best lap possibilities, so
but
we'll
we
see
are
if he
racing Lopeska and Erzu on the front row. That's not gonna matter that much in this long of a race, and Erzu already getting crashed out. So he is in last. It's not a big crash and he's not far behind. In fact, he's passing back Frost and Lager already. But Fam is in the lead, and this is where I ask, will he look back? Because last time we had an endurance here in the Revolt Endurance Championship, he started leading lap 1, and from then on he built up hundreds of meters of a gap to second. So will be interesting to see if he can do the same this time. Lampard and Kippy are fighting for second at the moment. I expect G and Frost to get up there, maybe Erzu as well, maybe Lager, who has not had the best consistency recently. Oh, and Lopeska with a crash in that, is that the dinosaur? I think it is. And he's now in last.
Lampert wrecking on a wall ride as well. He was in like second place. He got knocked back way back. He's currently sitting in 8th. Like you mentioned, Famous with an early lead, almost 20 meters. Kippy out in second. A name that we haven't seen a ton, but is really showing up on this Museum 2, at least in the early game. G-Force in third. We do have the live scores stuttering a bit, so I'll turn that off for now. Frostbitten chasing. Kippy has been passed by G-Force in the meantime, in that split second.
Yeah, and remember, pass laps also mean points, but also Fam messed up the car. So it is G who is gonna be getting closer and Frost behind as well. The 3 of them getting closer. Remember, I did say that Fam won by hundreds of meters, but that was a year ago. So Frost has improved, G has improved for sure. Since that whole championship, Frost has been challenging Fam more and more in endurance, and G is also up there at the moment. It's lap 4 out of 80 only. So this is the long game. Will they all go for the car? They are all going for it. And Frost is gonna crash. I wonder if G's legs threw him off a bit.
Good question, good question. But it is going to be 20 meters from Frost. That was a bit uncharacteristic. Maybe just getting the jitters out of the way. We are only 5 laps in out of 80. So we are going to be here for quite a bit longer than we've been. Lots of time to see who makes more mistakes in the long run. Famous and G, 20 meters. Frost, bit ahead of Kippy.
Geez, like it's definitely making it seem like he crashes on the cut sometimes and Kippy passes Frost. Did he mess up the cut again?
That had nothing to do with G-Force either. We definitely see the jitters coming out. Frost is defending his prize in that second place, overall league standings, and it could be getting to him. We'll see how it continues to race out. Now, while this continues, Famous and G-Force for second, Kippy and Frost third, fourth.
G with a big crash though, and Frost and G are basically side by side, and G is gonna be with the bigger leg push out of them.
Yeah.
There was no way they were gonna come out without a bit of an incident there, and they kind of did, but G did get a push out of it.
In the meantime, Lampert has been able to catch 2, is now sitting in 6th after that early wreck. Ertzu in 5th, hunting for Frost in specific. He's going to have his work cut out for him, though. Laggy Rock 7th. Wurzel and Nick fighting for that 7th as well. Lopeska with a bit of a gap. Looking back, Kippy out in 2nd. The modest lead. It's not too much, though. G has fallen back to 4th.
Oh yeah, I missed that as well. I was kind of looking at the standings too. But G has been overtaken by both Kippy and Frost, and now has to be getting back, and Fam now has a 50-meter gap, as well as the best lap which he ran in lap 7 with a 34.3. That's already really strong. So he's not stopping for the time being. Let's see if he can be stopped in the upcoming stages of the race. But Kippy is holding 2nd at the moment. This is a quite good performance, considering he usually considers himself rusty, but endurance is a kind of event where the long run is what matters, and honestly Kippy is doing really well here. He might not have the pace, although he did do a 34.7, so that's a really good best lap. So he does have the pace actually. I've been corrected, and Fam is now only 50 meters in the lead.
Yeah, within vision, at least. Of course, no pickups to hit him with, but it's just a different ball game when you can see the person that you're trying to chase. It gives you that little bit of hope. Kippy, Frost, still locked in. Kippy is going to spin, going to block G-Force as well. G-Force snagging 3rd, and looks like, yeah, Lampert has the 2nd best lap. So, and
no,
Nick
Frost has
third.
the 2nd best lap. Frost has the 2nd best lap.
Okay.
Kippy has the 3rd.
So it is not ordered like that. Got it.
That comment was. Yeah,
oh, that was an old one. Okay, we got the updated times, but still, Lampert and Nick doing quite well.
They keep doing best laps, their personal best, quite often. At this point in the race, Kippy with a mistake on the shortcut, and G is able to build an advantage out of that. I think Frost and Fam will be interesting to pay attention from now on, because it's 25 meters, and Frost will try everything he can to put the pressure on.
Okay. In the meantime, we did see Lampert spin out, so not going to be able to catch Kippy, despite Kippy making that mistake. It was mirrored by Lampert. But we're headed back into the shortcut between Frost and Fam. Looking good.
Can you try the standings again?
Yes.
And I think Frost and Fam are running fairly consistent 34s at the moment. And they don't make that many mistakes, although we've seen both of them mess up the cut, independent of other cars. So the cut is definitely an important part, which is where they are coming to now. There's a Lager and Lampard fight for 7th in the meantime, and Erzu's not far from Nick either. Oh, and Nick will be passing Kippy, and Erzu will be the one who might be able to do that as well. Not yet, and Kippy manages to block him in that straight. But he's now on the back of him. I was praising Kippy, I might have jinxed him a bit, but he is falling back a bit, and Erzu is still quite close, although Kippy has the pace, but he's gonna be sliding as he enters the conveyor belt, and Erzu takes 5th place. Kippy is going for the cut though, and he's gonna be taking that position back. Erzu has to do the same thing again, and the first time he could use a mistake from Kippy to go by, but this time maybe Kippy won't make that same mistake, so Erzu has to find a way around, and it does feel like Kippy is a bit faster actually. He's just less consistent at the moment.
Okay. And yeah, it is Frost in 2nd, Erzu in 6th. If the race were to end like this, it would not bode well for Erzu's chances in that finale. But he's actually opting for the safe route and is giving Lampert a window in. So Lampert challenging that 6th place position now.
I mean, I understand that. Going for the safe route is long term possibly a good idea. He is losing out to Kippy in that one lap and he's not going for it, but Kippy might be messing up the cut. I mean, it's very hard to do the cut that many times, but I saw a small gap for the lead, and in fact Frost is gonna be taking it, but he's gonna be hitting the wall, and Fam takes it back. So we had 2 lane changes. I don't know if either of them were caught on camera because we were focusing on the midfield for a bit there.
Yeah.
But Frost is challenging, and now Fam knows that the pressure is on. So the 2 of them are in an active fight at this point. Fam having messed up, I think, at the cut. Will he do the same? No, Frost almost hits the wall. There's a big bump in the middle of that, which makes it really hard to line it up and also to have a good exit. The exit is the harder part, but sometimes they do hit the entry walls as well. Looks like Frost and Fem are about similar pace. Fem has the better best lap. And remember, best laps are points as well, but Fem is not very much in the points fight. So him having it is basically neutralizing it a bit. I thought Frost was gonna hit the wall again.
Yeah.
That's always really close, and possibly a bit of lag involved means that we see it even closer. But yeah, best lap also gives points. I mean, it gives 1 point, and Frost and Erzu are really close in the points. Frost is in 2nd, Erzu is in 6th, so if they're the ones to watch out for, Erzu is gonna be losing out on points big time compared to Frost. And as we stand, I'm pretty sure G would be confirmed champion of the league if he finishes there.
Okay.
So it might not be the last event of Season 1 in Division 1, but we could be crowning a champion here.
G-Force has actually bugged out on my radar, unfortunately, so I will be relying on you as well as the lap time or the live distance utility that we're using. Now,
oh, and Frost hitting the wall on the left. And that's gonna
Kippy
cost
as
him
well
30 meters.
in the meantime.
Oh, and it's Kippy versus Nick as far as I can see. We're taking the inside close to the wall. Out of the 2 of them, Nick has a better best lap by almost 30 milliseconds. They are really close pace fight. Kippy taking a turn much better there. He's possibly doing over-under here. He's gonna be going to the right. There wasn't enough space for him to go on the left, but he's gonna be staying close. Are they gonna go for the cut? They both go for it. Are they gonna survive though? They somehow do. Keep it not going for the wall ride.
Yeah, barely. And as we see, the battle between Fam and Frost is at 60 meters, give or take.
I see rejoining as an option being mentioned, but sometimes the data doesn't get loaded properly when it gets joined mid-race. So I'm not sure that's a solution. And if only one racer is the issue, but okay, let's focus on the Kip and Nick fight, and Nick will be the one crashing on the shot this time. They can't make it that close to each other twice in a row. I mean, Nick was the one who basically had free space, but he could see Kippy coming from behind, and a car that close is gonna scare you into going full speed at that. But, I'm not sure if he did that full speed, but it's definitely gonna make you wanna go faster through that cut, because you could get pushed and that could be hurtful.
Yes.
And Frost is 20 meters behind Fem again, so...
Yeah, I was gonna mention that we've also got the battle between Nick and Ertzu. That seems to be pretty precarious. Frost has gotten a new best lap, it looks like, on that lap. Now it hasn't taken
Nick
the
with
overall.
Nick with a big mistake on the final turn. I'm not sure how he messed it up. I think he might have hit the inside wall, but Erzu is going by. And yeah, Frost does a 34-4-18. So
he's
almost
closing it.
Yeah, he's almost at Fem's best lap. And Nick with the cut, but he's not gonna be able to go by Erzu here. Frost not that far behind Fem, but he makes a smaller mistake. So it's opening up a bit. I think Nick and Erzu might have a higher chance of an overtake at the moment, but we've seen Frost and Fem mess up the cut quite a few times. So I'm honestly not sure where to focus at the moment. Nick will be expected to take the cut, and Erzu will not be, based on a previous lap. So let's see if they do that again. Yeah, Nick is going for it, and he's gonna be making it. He's ahead, but only... Well, they are touching, basically, not anymore, because Nick was able to pull half a car length ahead. But Erzu is right on him still, and Kippy is also making mistakes ahead, so he is falling into the grasp of Nick and Erzu.
And developing into a battle for the podium between the three. In the meantime, Fam and Frost continued about 10 meters, 13 meters away from each other. I'm still looking at the shortcut, and Ertzu falling back a little bit more as he continues to not take the shortcut. But Nick also looking a bit iffy on that shortcut, so he's going to lose some time as well. Fam and Frost continuing their battle, what we're locked on to currently.
Was going for the cut, of course, and Frost messing it up a bit. It's not a big mistake, he didn't spin out, but he had to really let go of the gas there, lose a bunch of momentum, and only then continue, so he's lost like 10 meters with that, I think, which is significant when a battle is this close. And they're gonna be heading to the shortcut again, and yeah, Lampard is close to Lager, so go with that.
Yeah, their distance got to 0 meters for a second. I think it was on the shortcut, but it looks like Laggy Rock has the upper hand for the moment. Lampert almost certainly has a better lap time. I guess I shouldn't say almost certainly, but okay, it was just a bit of lag there. As they go for the shortcut, it is going to be Lampert blubbing it. Laggy Rock with the pass
Famous
back
crashing
up.
out on the dinosaur section somehow. I don't know how, but Frost is now ahead. And Frost, if he makes the cut, he'll be in control of the race for the time being. This might be the longest he's led. We've seen him pass Famous, but lose the lead instantly. If he can keep it for a bit longer, that could be really impactful on this race as a whole.
Yeah, it's a nice moment for Frostbitten. 30 laps in, he does take the lead, but we'll see if he's able to hold on to it. We have mentioned that it actually looks like the player in the back has the upper hand on the shortcut. We'll see if that is the case as Spam continues to catch.
It could be a case of both. One thing I will note is that the person behind is in your screen when they're very close, but Fam is still just out of that range. But that could be really annoying for Frost. It's very distracting to have a car blocking half of your view.
Yes. Yes. And also, I believe Jerome even called out that dinosaur skip, and it did end up being Famous's downfall, at least for the moment. He could recover it.
Oh, he has a dinosaur skip. I didn't even notice that. They are about on par at the time being, and this is the closest battle. So the closest battle is for the lead. And oh, Fam running really wide in that turn. He's not gonna lose much, but it's certainly
Well,
something which costs him a bit of time. They're heading into the shortcut again. This is gonna be the interesting part. Oh, Frost hits the wall on the exit, loses a bit of speed with that, and Fam is a bit closer now.
it's a worrisome situation for Frost, and also we can see up in the distance a driver who is not ahead of them, but is instead being lapped. I
think that's Warsaw, because I'm pretty sure I already saw a car that was lapped, and that was the best car. And I'm seeing a black car, which would possibly mean it's Warsaw. Frost! Did he let him by?
Oh, it looked like it. He did let him by, and okay, does look okay on that shortcut. It's gonna be Fam back in the lead.
Maybe Frost just saw that it wasn't worth going side by side into that turn while we're on up 34 out of 80. Although GeForce is 100 meters behind, so it's not like they have that much to worry about, although 100 meters is not as much in terms of an endurance. They will be heading into the cut again, which is the most interesting part as we've seen! Warsaw crashing on it! Frost
And
letting
Frost
Famous back.
Stopping. And we saw something similar happen, kind of similar happen to Lampert in the RVCC, and Frost also stopped in that situation. Seems like Fam either slowing down a bit or just letting Frost pass.
Yeah, it did look like they were honking at each other, and Fam most certainly letting him back by. If they keep doing that, though, GeForce is gonna be on the back of them. I think they are settled with their places for the time being. I don't know if Fam crashed only because of Warsaw. Warsaw seemed to be very much in the way there. I hope it is Warsaw, because I keep saying it. Warsaw is the one behind them, yeah.
It was, yeah. It was very flagrant issue there. Wurzel was flipped over completely on his back, and Fam punted him.
Yeah, if you're a lapped car and you're crashing out, you can't do much about that. Oh, and Fam made a mistake on the cut now. So yeah, I think one good way to let the leaders by is the shortcut though, because the leaders are more likely to go for it and you can just go around.
Yes, exactly. Wurzel decided to not deviate from his line and ended up having a pretty poor interaction with the first and second. Now Fam out 30 meters out in the lead. GeForce only 60
Frost is
away.
in the lead.
That's what I meant. Fam in second. 30 meters away. GeForce only 60 meters away from Fam though.
I'll have to cut you off because Frost messed up the shortcuts exit. Oh, they both going for that wall ride. That's something we didn't really talk about, the left on that straight. Because as we've mentioned in previous events, wall riding can make you land faster. So that's a bit of a time gain. And I've seen overtakes being executed like that. Fam is really on his rear bumper this time. They are gonna be heading into the cut like this. Oh, he's losing a bit of ground there. But they are gonna be heading there. And they are gonna survive, but Fam loses a bit of ground. He had a bit of wiggle in that planetarium area. And that's what cost him like a meter. From which he couldn't attack as efficiently. Although I wonder what he would have done if he was that close. Maybe he would have slowed down, because there was no way he could have tried an overtaking attempt into the cut.
Bam bumping into Frost. We'll see. This is really the race to watch. I see Lampert and Laggy Rock, or rather Lampert and Ertzu, but it's hard to look away from this battle between Frost and Famous.
Oh, I'm going for the left of that. It's not even intentional. Oh, Frost wall riding a bit too much. Fam is ahead. Is he gonna be able to block? Frost is the one with the block. They go separate ways here. And Frost is gonna end up being ahead. But Frost is going around. He wasn't brave enough to go for that cut at that point.
Okay.
I think he was just too stressed out. He had to think quick. Fam was right behind. And I also see the gaps between GeForce and Kippy and Lampert and Erzu closing up. It's really hard to focus on multiple battles at the same time, and this one's for the lead.
We have passed the halfway point in the race, lap 41 of 80.
Well, it does seem like the Kippy versus Lampert has settled down, or Kippy versus GeForce, I think it was. Oh, Frost having a very good cut here, and he's right on Fam. They're both gonna be going for the wall ride again. Like I've said, the wall ride could cost you a position, and track position is important. It might not seem significant, but 50 milliseconds of a gain could be one car length, which could be the car length that puts you in the lead. And overtaking is not that easy here, as we've seen. The best chance you have might be the cut, if they mess it up, but you have to rely on them messing it up. Frost with the better pace across the shortcut for the second time in a row, I think. And
it's a very picky shortcut. So we have seen these gains be passed back and forth between the two racers at that shortcut. Frost now approaching very closely.
he had a great section there. Fam is gonna be putting him into the wall. That's a very aggressive block right there. And also legal. It's not illegal to block people who you are fighting. It's only illegal to do that if they are a lap down. Nick with the personal best lap in the meantime of 34.425.
And I think we missed it, but he did pass up GeForce. I think that is a new development. GeForce getting a best lap of his own, though.
Yeah, it's only a 34.6, and Nick could have still run a better lap, is the interesting part of that. It seems like Nick does have the pace down, but they are 23 meters apart based on the timing.
Ooh, Fam with a bit of a bump on the wall before that final door into another tight passageway on the bounce, and you know, things looking about the same as they have been. It's going to come down to the shortcut once again. We'll see how they handle it.
Oh, Famous sliding off that, and he's keeping the lead by Frost crashing into him. But Frost is gonna have the better exit on the shortcut. He's not gonna be able to capitalize on it because Fam could block still. But they are 1 meter apart again. Fam messed up, and he ended up being lucky because he slid back into Frost. And now he messes up again. He's making mistakes. The pressure is on him. Heading into the same section where he made the previous error.
And we saw GeForce very close to Nick in the meantime. Frost is going to wreck just a bit on the exit to that shortcut. Well, the entry. You're able to recover by the exit, but not without some loss to his time. Now, at the shortcut for GeForce and Nick, it looks like GeForce is actually taking the safe route. Not taking the shortcut at all. Which is interesting.
Shortcut, I believe.
He did.
He
didn't the previous lap. Okay. Lampert and Kippy also quite close. We do need to look back at Fam and Frost, especially as they approach the shortcut. Oh, and it's a very, very sizable wreck by Frost. About 40-50 meters off the back of that. Nick and G gonna hit the shortcut as well. And looking good. Kippy and Lampert approaching the shortcut. 50-meter lead for Fam. Lopeska has wrecked. Kippy and Lampert avoiding for the most part. Lampert with a quick 360. And he's back on his way, but it's going to be Kippy holding on to 5th, as well as Nick holding on to 3rd for the moment. Frost with the overall best lap time now, but 60 meters behind Fam.
And with further difficulties this time around on the cut. He does get the bonus point for the best lap though, so it would put him at 16 points in this race. And that would be quite a sizable gap to Erzu, who is down in 7th. I'm gonna quickly check the points table in the meantime.
Right.
So Erzu was 5 points behind. Frost would gain 5 points based on positions and 1 based on the best lap that he has. So Erzu's not looking good.
It's really not looking good for him. He had been mounting such an offensive, a slow, creeping offensive from, I think, from 4th originally. It was like 4th or 5th place. He's been slowly climbing his way up, session by session, finally within striking distance of Frost, but seeming to come up short in one of the final legs. Now we do still have time. It is lap 50 of 80, but he has got a whole mountain to overcome. We'll see. It is kind of an Odyssean feat if he was able to do it.
And the closest at the moment is Lampard to Kippy and G to Nick. Lampard passes Kippy though on the cut as Kippy messes it up. The fight for the lead is settled for the time being, but Frost and Fam have similar pace. Fam could mess up any time as well. Let's see how much of a rhythm he has at the moment. It does seem like he's able to maintain it for the time being. But it's only been a few laps since Frost crashed, so he could still have his groove broken. Push it up, and Erzu is closing up on Kippy in the meantime, but Kippy is gonna go for the cut. Let's see if he can make it. I think he did, yeah, he did. So Kippy holding himself in 6th, that's actually not bad. And he just did a personal best lap in this race with a 34.481. That's a quite good lap.
Yeah.
So he might not be fighting for the win here, but I do think he still kind of has it, at least when it comes to pace. And Kippy is a bit of a veteran, I believe. Oh, he's gonna be messing it up this time.
Talked about him.
Yeah, yep. That happened for the second time in a row this race. Second time this race. But what I will say is he's a bit of a veteran, so.
For sure.
And so he used to do a lot of B4Ls icing and things like that. But endurances weren't as common back in the day, and he'll be crashing out heading into the conveyor belt section. And that's a huge loss of time, 40 meters compared to Erzu. But Erzu's not going for the cut, so it could still get interesting. And G is arriving at Nick in the meantime, 10 meters between them.
Now, if you are looking at the bottom left here, it does say he's in 9th, but he's actually in 4th for any people who aren't familiar, or maybe newer viewers. So make sure you get look on the left hand of the screen, upper left, for clearer times. Nick wrecking a bit. It is single digits moment.
Pam doing a personal best, but how much did he even improve his previous lap?
Right.
I'm not quite sure. It's a 34.373 now, and also I believe said announcement Lopeska seems to have disconnected.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Now we do have a couple of close races, Erzu and Kippy. Erzu has overcome one. Needs to overcome more. Nick seems to have wrecked in the shortcut just a bit more. G4's like an inchworm each lap, creeping up. 55 of 80. Now for Frost and Fam, We got a battle still about 100 meters. That race, that duel has all but evaporated, at least for the moment.
Okay, so apparently Famous's best lap was improved by 60 milliseconds,
Ooh.
which is not huge, but they are in the range of times where 60 milliseconds counts quite a bit. And also it shows that he does have the pace at the moment. But G is getting closer to Nick in
He
another
really
fight,
is.
so another mistake by Nick, even a small one, and G could be overtaking him.
And Kippy and Ertzu as well is a battle that has been brewing. We are going to stay on G-Force and Nick as they approach the shortcut.
Oh, Nick is gonna
Nick.
be spinning! G really slowing down on the entrance. I wonder if G did that because of Nick, or if he just had a bad entrance himself. They both messed it up a bit, maybe. But G is now ahead and insert behind Frost. The gap between G and Frost points-wise was 23 before the race. Frost needs to gain 7 more than G if he wants to stay alive in this championship mathematically. But even if he does that, G participating in the final event basically would guarantee.
Well, I will remind you that G-Force is playing on Brazilian internet. Now, we do have some other questionable internet services, but in an 80-lap battle, it is really up in the air. People could disconnect, and that could have a pretty sizable impact, could it not? I mean, I hate that we're talking about last resorts at this point, but it is something that could happen, and I don't know how we would be equipped to deal with it at that point.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen G-Force disconnect from an Endurance. He has a high pace, he doesn't have bad speed or instability. Instability, maybe that's the word. But,
yeah.
I mean, it could happen. If we're talking about it and it does happen, it feels like the blame will be on us.
That'll be awkward.
So,
yeah.
I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah,
what
let's
I
not
will
talk about
say
it.
is ping does not mean disconnection. And Nick is playing on mobile data as well. So, both of these racers, ping-wise, not doing great.
Now,
And
in the... Yeah.
so, to each other, it must be exceptionally bad.
Yes. Now, in the meantime, it does look like Kippy has passed up Ertzu, probably by nailing that shortcut and eventually being able to pass him. Kippy is also hunting Lampert.
With that gap, I think it's more likely that Erzu messed up.
Also true. Nick hunting down G-Force.
Keep him making another mistake on the conveyor belt in the meantime, behind them, so that's quite interesting. He's been... I think I've seen him do that twice, but I've not been looking at him much. So it's very interesting, and he messed up the cut this time, so Erzu will be overtaking him, and Kippy has to do that all over again with less than 20 laps to go. It's 19 as he crosses the line.
There it is. And Nick and G-Force headed to the shortcut of death. Looking pretty good. Back on Kippy and Ertzu.
If Erzu doesn't do the cut this time, he'll possibly lose out to that coming to Jacob Kippy, and Kippy will be taking that position. I don't know if Erzu will be doing that the whole race. Like, if it's the final few laps and he sees an opportunity, he might just go for it.
So
and
true.
it could pay off. Because it's safe for the whole race, but at this point he knows that Lager is 200 meters behind. So Lager doesn't have a good chance of catching them, let's be real. And if they went for the card, Erzu, Kippy... Oh, Kippy messing it up again though, so...
Yep.
I'm talking
That's
about
what
that race.
Ertzu's banking on. Yeah.
I am talking about that risk, and it seems like it is not working out great for Kippy. And also,
We have
Famous has 200 meters of a lead.
Yeah, some more wrecks coming out apparently.
And
G-Force.
And Fem also did a 34
Yep.
230. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
But he did do a 34 230. He's flying at the moment. Frost is just falling behind, and actually G is getting closer. Fem crashes at the car just as I say that, as he was lapping Kippy. And Erzu also seemed to have made a mistake.
Yeah, Fam with the new best lap, and Frost actually pretty close to G-Force at this point. Could get passed up by G-Force and Nick, and then if Air2 manages to pass Lampert, and then Frost loses 200 meters, we could see Air2 passing Nick as well. Less likely than G-Force passing Frost, but it could happen. They are at 70-meter differential. Nick and G-Force close by. Kippy continuing battle with Air 2 as well. Now, hold on, wait for the shortcut. Ooh, Nick and G-Force both going to wreck. Right there.
And Nick taking that spot. You talked about how Frost could be making mistakes and Nick and G-Force could be catching him. Well, not like this, so they both crash out at the same spot.
Right.
They are very much in this battle for third at the moment, and I feel like that's beneficial for Frost because they have pressure on them, they are focusing on this, so they might not be going as fast as they could be.
And I don't know if you recall, I said at the start of the race something about Frost, or not Frost, but Fam possibly having some kind of tech. I'm not sure the clearance levels on it. But if he is doing it, it seems to be working out quite well. We can watch him for a lap, see if he goes for it. He probably is, since he's...
Then you mean the wall?
I don't know. It wasn't quite the wall. It's not a wall. I can say that much. But he has fallen down about 50 meters, so it's possible to say he's been going for it. We'll see if he attempts it here. He is attempting it.
You mean going on top of that thing? Or being onto that? Yeah, okay. I've seen that strategy used before, mostly not intentionally, but it definitely looks beneficial. But if he's doing that intentionally, then hats off, I guess.
We'll
I
see.
think he's going for better best laps at the moment. And he is safe to do that. Frost is quite a bit behind, and it's gonna be Nick and G who are still in this battle for third. With 11 laps to go as they cross the line.
Yes, I do want to catch a Lampert, Kippy, and Airtsu as they go for the shortcuts here. Looking fresh and clean. Airtsu opting out of it. So Nick and G-Force is what we'll be tuned back into as they hit the escalator and head to a shortcut of their own.
Okay, I thought G was going right, but I still lost a bit of time to Nick, even if he didn't do that, so... He needs Nick to either make a mistake or he needs to find some pace, because Nick's best lap is 0.2 faster.
Kippy has spun in the shortcut, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so... wait, let me see that. Oh, Erzu is very close then to him. And also Nick and so G doesn't seem to have the better pace at the moment, but Nick could be making a mistake, and that could be what matters. Nick does make a mistake on the exit of the car. I wonder if Lager had anything to do with that.
Don't know. We are running out of time though, and the number is still in the single digits for some of these racers, namely G-Force and Nick. Lap 71 of 80. The moves need to be made now, but it looks like, by the way this is playing out, this is anyone's third place.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be made. It could just be the pressure. G could still be playing the long game, which is 8 laps. That's still fairly long compared to a normal race. There's a decent chance that one of them will mess up the car, and G will be hoping it will be Nick, and he messes up, and now Lager is right next to him. He's gonna be able to clear him. that could have been that could have gone really wrong for
Yeah.
G.
Yeah, it really could have. But back to the situation as it has been. Two
G slows
different
down.
lines for that shortcut. Yeah.
G slows down a lot more.
Yes.
I'm not sure how worth the cut is like that, and it doesn't seem like he goes for that wall ride,
It's interesting.
which might be giving the edge to Nick here. Regardless, even if they finish like this, G would be, I think, mathematically champion. But
It would certainly make sense.
he would probably love to do it with the podium.
Yes.
And he's not far from that. It's not far, it's less than 10 meters still. They've been like this for a few laps now. And there's only 6 to go as they cross that line.
Kippy and Air 2. Kippy shortcut. Be getting closer to Air 2 in the meantime. Back to G-Force and Nick. In the final laps, the final attempts at the shortcut, which has been the main killer on this track.
G really slowing down again. And Nick having a bad exit, he slides a bit. That's like 1 or 2 meters. It mightn't be significant, but this is the closest G has been in laps.
And if Kippy can clear the shortcut, he is going to be passing up Air 2 right here at this turn. We'll see Air 2 go wide. Kippy's not, and he sneaks on through and onto the wall ride. Back to G-Force and Nick. Lap 75 of 80.
76. Because G is missing 1 lap on your radar. Oh, and they are doing the same thing. G is slowing down a bit more. And Nick might be slowing down a bit in the middle of the cut because he's not gaining much. They are doing around the same laps.
Yeah, and Kippy has held the lead on Air 2.
G and Nick are in a bit of a stationary fight here. Oh!
And Kippy wrecked on the shortcut, so it's been back to Air 2. Now back on Nick and G. It sounded like there was some issues on the escalator portion, but G-Force actually losing a pretty large amount there.
Yeah, as for Kippy and Erzu, I think Erzu can afford to not go for the cut and possibly still beat Kippy overall. But G here is close enough to Nick that I don't think Nick can afford to do that. And I wonder if G will be going stronger for the cut this time. It's 3 to go and 3 cuts left. And that could be the biggest gaining factor for G if he goes for it with full speed. And he's gonna be messing it up. He might have reached a bit more, but he is a bit further behind now. In the lead in the meantime, Fam is with 2 to go. He's 150 meters ahead. Not bothered by Frost at all. And it does look like he'll be able to pull this off. It wasn't a smooth victory. He did have to fight for it the whole first half of the race. He and Frost were really close to each other, and then Frost made a big mistake, which caused him to fall back. But Nick and G are still undecided who should get third, and G does seem like he's getting a bit closer here, but he's gonna need a bit of a miracle at this point on the final lap, I think. Nick messing up or something like that, and they are heading into the final lap.
Wurzel caught up in this three-way between Lampert, Air 2, and Kippy. Kippy passing up Air 2. Back onto Nick and G. G not quite passing, but they are approaching a shortcut.
G did do a personal best. Let's see if he can do a good cut here. Nick is gonna be able to make it on the exit, and Frost is right ahead of them on the final lap. I'm not sure. Maybe he was risking for the best lap, but he is gonna be finishing third.
Wow!
And behind them, Lampard, Wurzel, Kippy, and Erzu. Wait, Wurzel is a lap down. So let's see.
Yeah.
Lampard goes for the cut. They all go for the cut. Erzu's gonna be crashing. Kippy cannot overtake Lampard either. So the places don't change, but that was really close for the final lap. Yeah, Lampard could still crash, but he's gonna be crossing the line.
Ah, man. Erzu YOLOing it at the end, respect, but it looked like he needed to do it a lap earlier to hold on to his position, maybe 2 laps earlier. Hard to say, I mean, hard to judge him for it to, do 77 laps and then do the final 3 as shortcut. That would be kind of crazy. Hindsight's 2020. But it has finished. Our 80 laps have come to a close for all but Wurzel, who will be crossing the short line soon. So away we go. Just as a recap, first place is going to be Famous. Second is going to be Frost. Third, Nick. Fourth, G-Force. Fifth, Lampert. Sixth, Kippy. Seventh, Ertzu. Eighth, Laggy Rock. Ninth, Wurzel. A crowded lobby. Ultimately, though that crowdedness did have some factors in the race here and there at some key moments, but for the most part, it came down to the shortcut. Really, and we've got the best laps in the chat as well. Famous number 1, Frost second best lap. Third is going to be Nick, followed by Kippy, G-Force, Lampert, and so on. Kippy 6th place, but with 4th place overall best lap. Did have some consistency issues there on that shortcut, especially near the end of it.
Yeah, Kippy was running strong for some of the race, and I think 6th is still a decent result considering his fights. He was really close to Asda for some of that, and he beat him. So that has to be a bit of a victory. Lampard almost falling back right at the end. Frost probably isn't that satisfied with second in this race after he fought Fam for Alpha Fit. And Nick and G almost got him in the end as well. And G, I believe, is crowned champion based on that. I'll wait for the points of it before saying that. But
Right.
he was 23 points ahead, and he's only losing 2 points compared to Frost, as Fam also had the best lap. Fam, who will be getting a bit closer to keeping the points, but I don't think he's taking it that seriously.
Right. So yeah, Ertzu, the reaping approach to Frost has been cut off in one of our final sessions. It of course could still come back in Ertzu's favor by the end. There are possible routes of that happening, but with him placing in 7th and Frost in 2nd, that is going to be not quite the final nail in the coffin, but I mean, we're getting close. Like, that's like the next to last. Yeah, it's like half of the last nail in the coffin. So, yeah, it is going to be tough for Ertzu to come back from, but congratulations to Frost for a great performance. Not quite able to catch Famous back after a horrible wreck, and then we also saw him almost fall back behind Nick and G there at the end.
Yeah, my theory is that he was going for the best lap and he messed up.
Yeah.
Because of that. Or he just at this point he was like, okay, I'll put to the show for the final lap. I will be close to them, and that will be interesting for the viewers.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely the best lap.
So that will conclude session 11. It was pretty quick. Endurance. A couple different ways that you can host an endurance session. You could split it up between different tracks. You can do it all on one track, and I actually quite liked having the whole 45 minutes basically on one track. It really I was really impressed by how close they were able to keep it, and so on. So condolences to those who finished near the bottom. Congratulations to those podium holders. Nick also notably beating out G-Force, quite the battle there. and we will be back with more. It's going to be all on this channel this week, because usually we have Hot Seat GG hosting Division 1, but we couldn't do that this week. So that has been Revolt United hosting Division 1. We'll also be hosting Division 2 and 3. Division 3 will be Thursday at 18 UTC, and Division 2 will be Sunday at 18 UTC. And that will be our next to last session completed at the end of Sunday. Anything from your end, Doug?
Not much more, except since we've had an endurance, I just like to say that there's not many details, but some players or some people who are in the chat might have missed it. The Revolt Endurance Championship will likely be happening in around 2 months, or starting in 2 months. So stay tuned for that. Because if you are interested in either playing or watching, it will likely be broadcasted here, and it's generally quite fun. There have been 2 seasons. Some of season 2's VODs are on the channel as well. But
That's right.
This was one of the best endurance races broadcasted on this channel, I think. So thank you for tuning in for that. It was definitely a blast to watch. It was real high quality skill wise, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah. Shout out to the shortcut. Shout out to Twitch chat. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. We had a couple new viewers, a couple new followers. Shout out to y'all as well. And we'll be back on Thursday. So see you then.